What is up, guys, and welcome back to Marvel Monday. Today's episode is going to be on, Marvel villains and bad guys. So the first one I'm going to talk about here is Obadiah Stane. This is a relatively recent minifigure. It came in a set where it's Ironmonger versus Iron Man. And as you can see, this is a pretty accurate look for him. There's not a ton of detail on this minifigure. There's just, a little bit here on the back. And he has just, a standard suit. He's just supposed to, sit in, the Ironmonger build. And then he's supposed to just control from there. So he doesn't need to have a ton of detail. That's why there's no, leg printing or anything. But I do like this face. I like this expression that he has in his beard and everything. Not a ton to talk about on it. However, in that set came an Iron Man suit that I forgot about and didn't talk about in the Iron Man video. So I'm going to talk about it right here, and that's the Iron Man Mark III. This is the first red and gold one that he made, but this is a more recent one, hence why it has this leg and toe printing, and it has all this detail to it. Pretty standard, but it just has these little black circles up top here for bolts, just to kind of show that it's an older armor. It's got this really nice chest print here. It's pretty similar to some of the other ones, same with the leg printing, but it is a little bit distinct from the rest, and it has this back printing that's nice. It's accurate to the rest. I did forget to talk about him in the Iron Man episode. So this is just Iron Man Mark III. Even though he's not a villain, I did want to talk about him today. Now, up next is Red Skull. Now, once again, this is a more recent minifigure that I have. It might not be, but I'm pretty sure this leg piece is the same. If not, it's very similar to either Darth Vader or Emperor Palpatine or one of those guys. But I do like the attention to detail on his chest print here. As you can see, his belt buckle even has the Hydra logo. And he has these dark red stripes that come across in this leather suit. Looks pretty accurate, and I do like how the face is bright red. It's a nice face print and everything. I think this minifigure is pretty cool. I like that I have a version of him. Not that he's been my favorite villain. I just think he looks cool, and this is a pretty cool looking minifigure to have to the collection. Now, up next is a Chittari. Now, this is a Chittari that's based off the look from the Avengers movie. And one thing that's pretty noticeable about it is it has this golden headpiece. The Chittari is one of the few, if not the only minifigures I have that actually have a gold headpiece. I know C-3PO has them, but that's not a standard head shape. I'm talking about as far as standard head shape goes. This might be the only golden one I have is on the Chittari. I like the detail and the gold reflectiveness of the chest and how it has these gray and brown markings on it. And it has this leg print that really makes it flow through. And it does have these bright purple hands, which are a nice touch. I don't have many of these. I think the Chittari might be one of the only ones that have this. I don't have any others that have a lot of the things that this does. It's pretty unique compared to a lot of the other minifigures that I have. But I do also have this darker Chittari here. It's pretty much the same thing. Same hands, same arms. The head printing is a little bit different, but it's still overall pretty much the same. And this one does have some purple in the back print here as well, as you can see. It's a very similar print. Once again, it has these leg pieces that kind of flow. Once again, not a ton different than the other one. It just has this darker gray for the body and everything, which is a nice touch. It's a nice little variant to have. I'm pretty sure this next one is a Tatari. It might not actually be, and it's a pretty similar one to the other ones, but surprisingly enough, it's actually less detailed. Now, I like this face print. This face has a lot of these gold parts to it and has a lot of these pincers sort of and these teeth. It really looks kind of menacing, and I like it. And I like how this chest piece has some blue markings on it. It's not my favorite look for the Chittari, but it's a nice variant to have and everything. Even this back printing is pretty cool. The one biggest concern is there's no leg printing. It's kind of a shame because this came out in 2021. This came out 9 years or so after these other ones, and it doesn't have any leg printing. It just looks sort of bland compared to the other ones overall. And the next one I have is this Outrider right here. This came in one of the Iron Man Hall sets, and I do like how these characters didn't have any eyes, and they're just these mindless creatures with these open mouths and these golden plating armors and everything. Kind of reminds me of how Venom looks, just instead of white, it has this gold to it. And it has this cool back piece where this comes off and has these hands that come off of it. Once again, we're kind of reminding me of Venom. And it even has this super detailed back printing underneath, which is a nice touch to have, even though it's covered over by the arms most of the time. I do like that they still decided to put it on. Same with this back of the head printing here. And I do like just all the printings on this in general. Pretty well detailed, and it has this really cool look to it. And it's pretty accurate to how it looks. Once again, no leg printing, which is a shame again, because this either came out in 2020 or 2021. So it's a little bit of a shame that it didn't have any leg printing. I don't know why some of these recent ones don't have any. I think they could have easily found something to design on there. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about is Loki. Now, this is the classic look of Loki from the Avengers movie, and I do like how this like flows through. Once again, just showing how much it adds to these minifigures that even like 8 or 9 years before these two here, they were still having this leg printing, and it just goes such a long way. Even just like having a couple of these black lines here really just makes it have that much more depth to the minifigures. And I do love how it has all this gold and like green highlights and everything in it, and this staff was pretty cool. Same with this helmet here. I love how it's just like rubber mold here, and it says it doesn't have any secondary colors to it. I don't have any fears of it like rubbing off on the paint or anything. And he has this nice bright green cape here. There is no back printing on it, but that's fine. It doesn't need it. The rest of this minifigure is pretty cool without it anyways. Now, this head is a sort of generic piece. I'm pretty sure this has been reused on a bunch of other things, but it doesn't need to be super detailed because it does look like him, so it doesn't need to have like its own custom piece, I guess. Now up next is another one of the tricksters, and that is Mysterio. This also came out in 2021, and this one does have this nice leg printing here. I wish it had some arm printing. It doesn't necessarily need it, but I do like this gold chest piece here. You can see he has this like magenta or like pink cape to him, which is super cool. I don't have another cape that's like that, and it is the cloth material. Underneath his like fishbowl helmet, which is this blue, he does also have just a standard blue head, nothing specific about it. But this is the first cape I've talked about so far that has this like newer thing that they're doing to it, where it's the same cloth, but it just has this one hole. And this goes to show, once again, I do have, not on this cape in particular, but I do have some other capes where this one hole definitely makes it a ton worse of like my fears of it stretching, because now there's only one thing to keep it from like stretching it out. It doesn't have like 2 layers to add a little bit of extra sturdiness to it. It just makes me really nervous, and there is a minifigure I'll be talking about probably next week where it has almost already broken, and it's not even that old of a minifigure. But besides that, this chest print has so much detail on it, just like all these like imagery and everything. It's so cool. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be the one based off of his look in Spider-Man Far From Home, but it did technically come out, I think, in a No Way Home set, at least this one that I got specifically. But it's still a really cool minifigure. Even has that like float to it through this waist piece here and everything. Really cool minifigure. I love having a version of Mysterio. Next one I'm going to talk about is a bit different from the rest because it does have a giant pack that I'll show off later. And that is Vulture. I always liked how menacing the eyes look. These look pretty scary along with like the way he looks down in that one scene in the movies always struck me. And I like how he just has this like sort of like pilot's coat on and everything. And even not the most detailed minifigure in the world. It just has like a standard helmet piece with this like visor that goes over and this like face breather, but it does have a dual face printing, so I can put it on this face so you can sort of see his eyes through it. But personally, I like being able to see the green eyes of the Vulture, so I'm going to always keep that head on. But besides that, it's really accurate to the movie. There is no leg printing. Once again, a little disappointing, but not the end of the world. But the main thing that came with also is this little attachment right here, which I'll show you what this does in a second. Now, when you put that on, it just sort of sticks off the back and has these studs. But the biggest thing it's supposed to come with is, you know, what this Vulture is known for, his wings. So it came with this giant, like, wing pack, which is honestly so cool. I loved this set when it came with this. I love the way you can, like, maneuver all these around. It came with a ton of these stickers too, but it really just makes it all kind of pop out and vibrant. All these stickers on it really just add to the attention to detail on this. And this Vulture looks super cool. I love having this displayed. So it really looks super menacing and really cool. I love this minifigure, even with this like accessory here. Now the last minifigure I'm going to talk about today is actually a big fig that I'm talking about. And that is Cull Obsidian. Now he's not like a main villain, but he did come in some of the Avengers Endgame sets. Now I do like how he has this like shoulder armor piece. I don't have any other big figs that have those. It's a little disappointing that like it does restrict the movement of the arm. Like I can't swing his arm up completely, but I do like how he has this like very unique like tannish like brown skin color, which is nice. And this chest piece is pretty cool with these like with this giant strap and all these orange highlights. Even his face with these little like teeth sort of thing on here, and like the way his head is shaped in general is pretty cool. And I did give him these like hammer chain things that he has. These didn't come with it. I just put these on from my own collection stuff. These are most of the Marvel villains that I have. I might have one or two that I'm not remembering off the top of my head. But besides that, these are the rest of these. But there is one I'm noticeably leaving out, and that is for a future video of its own. That's all for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Farted on the track. Farted. Oh yeah. Yeah! We love that Dumpster Kid video. We all do! For more, like and subscribe. Hit it! Turn on the post notifications. Do it! Even when you're on vacation, you'll get notified.